Hi, welcome to another episode of LordSplodge D20, and this time we're going to take a look at this excellent game from Dice Hate Me, Brew Crafters. So let's open up a brew, crack on with a review. In the middle here, slightly obscured by the brew pub, we have the time track, so the game will take place over 12 rounds for year 1, for year 2, for year 3. So spring, autumn, spring, summer, something called fall, which I believe is correctly called autumn, and winter. And if we look here, we'll see that in spring you can plant stuff on the farm, and in fall or autumn you will get the stuff back, and at winter you will get any special powers and you'll have to pay for your brewery. And how that works is each player, so here we look at the blue player, will have a special power sheet. Now on this side they're all the same. If we flipped it over, there are different ones for different players. So this is, if we look here, we will see it's labelled there 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Put the cubes back on. As well as that, you'll get a brewery. Now where the paying comes into, you'll notice that each spot that is filled in has a dollar sign. That means at the end of winter, you will pay $1 to $3 for your actual brewery and $2 for your brew shift. So that's a total of $5. And each of the rounds here, turns, whatever we call them, is split into 2 stages. First of all, there is the worker placement stage, and this is pretty much standard fare. You have start player and the money. You can hire a skilled worker. You can pick up hops, and there'll be 3 hops here and 3 malt here and 2 hops there, and a yeast there, and they'll stack up. So each round, if nobody's done it, you'll put more cubes on. Pretty much standard Agricola fare there. And down at the bottom here we have advanced market, where you can get an advanced ingredient, so coffee, spices or fruit, and then a different combination of the basic ingredients. And here is the open market, where you can take any 2 of the listed ones. Here's one where you just get some money. And in a 2-player game, this is all you see, but in a 3-player or more game, you will get, there's another board which will have more actions, and then in the 5-player game there's even more actions. So it's just generally repeats of what's on here. And on this side you will see there is the brewing process, and this, once you've placed all your workers on here, you'll move here and you'll place your brew shift. And unlike this stage where workers can block other workers, workers can't be blocked here. So you could install equipment, run the brewery, or do some research. Or you could collaborate together to make some beer by putting ingredients on here, and this will get you points or money depending what you contributed. And the actions here, so you can install new equipment, which is a better brewery system, some oak barrels and mash tool, and some more storage area, because you can only store 12 ingredients down here. A farm, that's where we looked at the start, where you can plant stuff. A tasting room, a yeast lab, and a brew pub, which is another place where you can brew stuff. And when you do the brewery in action, what you will do is you will pay the ingredients for the recipe, and here's the sort of basic setup of recipes. As well as the recipes that you see, there is a raft of additional recipe types here that you can use instead. You just need 3 of each type. So you need the 3 basic, there's 3 promo style cards in the Kickstarter one that I got, and 2 of each. So you have to have 3 ales, 3 porters, 3 stouts, but there is a raft of cards there, as you can see. There are also a raft of skilled workers, so as you can see, and you can put those in as you want. These don't really have any restrictions like they do. And again, the art is Das Hate Me Staff. There's the lovely Stephanie Straw on there, and there's a whole load more. And finally, there is a set of advanced actions. So you can take these and put them on these blank spots. So in a 2-player game, there's space, as you can see on the board, for 1 of these. On the 3, 4 and 5 player, there's more blank spaces, so you could theoretically have more of them. But there are those. So that adds to replayability of the game quite a lot. So the top 3 are the basic, and below is the advanced. And you must brew the equivalent basic, so this stout must be brewed before we can brew the coffee stout or the imperial stout. The pleasantly porter must be brewed before we can brew the smoked porter or the vanilla porter. Same goes for the ales. So to brew this everyday ale, you will need 3 malt, 2 hops and 1 yeast. You will pay that back into the supply, and this will go into your brewery, or into your brew pub if you had your brew pub placed here. Then when you take that action in future rounds, or if you'd managed to get an extra worker out, you can then brew another one and move that down, or just choose to move that down, and when it gets to here it sells and you get coins. Now when you sell one of these advanced recipes, you will get the golden star. That gets you 3 points for each one of those you've got. And that's how brewing works. And then the lab research, lets you move, for each time you do it, 1 of these cubes along, and they have 4 rows. So experimental gets you that action straight away. So with advanced ingredients, this would take 1 advanced ingredient. And then you get a special power that triggers in winter. Then 1 whenever you take a action spot. So in this one, we have take 1 advanced ingredient when you receive 3 ingredients from a market action space. And finally, game end, 1 rep for each of the 6 advanced recipes that you brewed. So that's that spot. And as I was saying here, there is skilled workers, and this is the pool here that is set up by default for the sort of intro game in the rules. And each one of these has a different special ability, and you'll hire those. You don't pay anything at the time, but you pay when you get to winter. Each one of these costs $1. So that's it, 12 rounds of that, and whoever's got the most points at the end of the game is the winner. So let's wrap up and see what I think of the game. My sort of initial verdict of the game is it's very good. When I got it out of the box, it kind of looks more complicated than it is. The sort of Euro action, smooth American finish that it says on the box cover, seems to be a good summary of the game. I tried it with the wife, who's, I wouldn't go as far as saying she's a non-gamer, because she can play Agricola and Field of Arle and Snowdonia and plenty of other Euros. But she looked at the board and she went, oh, this looks complicated. And 2 rounds in, she was, oh, it's not that complicated at all. The mechanics, mechanisms, whatever we're supposed to call that word nowadays, it is simple worker placement. You have your brew shift workers and your normal meeple style workers. As I showed earlier, they go on the board and do their job. The fonts on the boards, not particularly massively impressed by them. They're a bit difficult to read, and they just, yeah, they could have just done with being a bit more crisp, a bit more clean. Also, when I saw the images of the brewery boards and these buildings, they looked like they'd be bigger than what they are. I was expecting these boards to be the Agricola player board sort of size, so maybe twice this big, and these to be consequently a bit bigger themselves as well. They're a bit small, and the text is no contrast here on the boards. So that's a nitpick there. The art on the board itself is absolutely stunning. The character cards have got people from Dice Hate Me, and sort of a nice art there, and then you've got the partnerships. They've got lovely art too. Even the buildings have actually got pretty good artwork. You're probably not going to be able to see that, but that's a brew pub. It's a nice drawing. It's just a little small. The art on the beer cards, as you saw earlier, that's also excellent. So the artwork itself is brilliant. There's a slight nitpick for me on the graphic design for the fonts on the side of the board, and this is a very specific nitpick for me. But brown and red, one's fruit, one's malt, can't tell them apart. So my reds have got black dots on, but that's because I'm red green colourblind, amongst other things. But generally the components are great. There is 215 individual beer tokens, so there's a lot of cardboard in this game, and it's good quality cardboard. So in conclusion, it's a nice medium weight Euro, very thematic. The theme just flows through it. Mechanically it's smooth. There's nothing to say. Those nitpicks that I said are tiny. The colourblind one, yes, they should have caught that, and I wish more companies would pay attention to colourblind gamers. The fonts, well, that's, again, it's personal opinion. It is readable. As I said earlier, my good lady played this, and she had no problem with understanding what the bits on the board did. And she read the text on here, which tells you what the places do. Managed to get that. So, yep. If you like Euros, if you like beer, if you like Euros and beer, then get this game. Simple as. It's pretty good. Okay, that's all I can say. It's a good game. If you didn't back it on Kickstarter, look for it in retail. Stay tuned for more LordSplodge D20 reviews coming soon.